Whether you're daydreaming, solving math problems, or having that aha moment about who is really the villain in that movie you watched last night, your brain is a powerhouse of constant activity. But how does it actually work? First, let's talk about how the brain is structured. You've probably heard of the brain's gray matter and white matter, right? Picture it like a tech company. The gray matter is like the headquarters, where all the thinking and processing goes on. Meanwhile, the white matter is more like the IT department, helping everything stay connected. Then, there's the brain's main regions, the cerebral cortex, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. Each of these parts has a different job. The cerebral cortex is where you get things like reasoning and creativity. The cerebellum is your balance and coordination expert. And the brainstem, it's your life support, running crucial functions like breathing, heart rate, stuff you can't afford to forget. Now, let's zoom into the real MVPs of the brain, neurons. These tiny cells are like the internet cables of your brain, sending messages back and forth all the time. Each neuron connects to thousands of others at sites called synapses. Think of synapses as mini Wi-Fi routers, transferring information in milliseconds. Imagine the last time you did something you've done 100 times, like brushing your teeth. Your neurons are basically saying, "We've got this on autopilot." And that's because the pathways between them get stronger with repetition, a process called synaptic plasticity. This is why practice really does make perfect. So what's sending these messages around? Neurotransmitters. These are the chemicals that do all the heavy lifting. Each neurotransmitter has a specific job. Dopamine gives you that feel-good buzz. Serotonin keeps your mood stable. And last but not least, there's adrenaline. When you're happy, your brain releases dopamine. But when you're facing something stressful, adrenaline and cortisol, another stress hormone, kick in. That's what you feel when you're nervous, before a big test or meeting. It's literally your brain preparing you for fight or flight. Now, let's talk about something that's been all over pop psychology. Are you a left brainer or a right brainer? It's the idea that left brain people are more logical, while right brainers are creative. But, spoiler alert, this whole left brain versus right brain thing, well, it's kind of a myth. Yes, some tasks do rely more on one side than the other, like language on the left and spatial awareness on the right. But the brain is way more collaborative than that. When you're working on a big problem, both sides are probably chipping in. So, what keeps all of this activity going? Well, your brain's a bit of an energy hog. It uses about 20% of your body's total energy, even though it only weighs about 2% of your weight. Your brain's main fuel, glucose and oxygen. And that's why staying hydrated, getting enough sleep, and eating healthy can actually make a difference in how sharp you feel. A dehydrated brain is like a slow computer, lagging, foggy, and not too fun to operate. Now, let's talk about one of the brain's most fascinating tricks, memory. Ever wonder how you can remember the lyrics to a song you haven't heard in years, but forget where you left your keys? Memory storage in the brain is like a giant filling system, but it's not perfect. The hippocampus, funny name, serious job, handles memory formation. Short-term memories get stored in different parts of the brain, and if you use them enough, they'll move to long-term storage. Ever notice how you can't remember every detail of every day? That's your brain being efficient. It stores the important stuff and lets the rest fade. Finally, let's talk about the subconsciousness. You might not realize it, but a ton of your brain's work happens beneath your awareness. This includes everything from instincts to habits to random gut feelings. Why? Well, your brain loves shortcuts. While you're consciously thinking about what to have for lunch, your subconscious is handling things like muscle memory and automatic habits. It's like a background app that runs on low energy, but plays a huge role in your daily life. So there you have it. Your brain is a complex, multitasking, constantly learning machine. It's always changing, adapting, and firing off signals to help you survive, thrive, and feel alive.